Today we were talking about psychological death and psychological warfare. Now, disclaimer, don't get this confused with shadow work. Understand that shadow work is about, definitely my version of shadow work is about tracking your spirit, understanding what stage you're in. Because you got to understand, whenever you become aware of some sensory perception and the reasoning behind that sensory perception, that is the first step of you transmuting that area of yourself, that aspect of yourself. And how you do it, I got a whole series about it. I got the shadow work series about the hell, you come aware of sensory perception, the demigod warfare, you using the not what no, the next would be purgatory. So purgatory would be you introspecting and understanding the reasoning behind some type of sensory perception. Because you got to understand, hell is whenever you're reacting and responding to sensory perception that you're ignorant of. So it's just like you being triggered and you acting within the trigger, and then later on you mad about the goddamn thought and feeling that came from it. So that's hell. Like that's hell. So you gotta understand what you're doing, bud. It's a system. The mind's a system. And Jameer got you. It's already tracked. I already did it. It's already tracked for you. Just go watch the motherfucking videos and see where you are, so you don't have to have your head all over the goddamn place. Now, understand, whenever we're talking about this though, I'm not talking about shadow work, but shadow work does come in play because the warfare and the death, it corresponds to shadow work. But this is just to help y'all get another perspective about the shit I be talking about, basically. So understand that psychological warfare is about understanding some type of aspect of yourself and hunting down the thing that is blocking the attribute that you actually are longing for. Because whenever you understand self knowledge, okay, not self knowledge, but self and knowledge, meaning how your mind interacts with an environment, and the first idea, the first thought, okay, that lets you know where you're going and how you're going to go. So you can actually track your spirit and your thoughts, and you can know what thought is actually going to manifest instead of trying to pervert your thoughts, which is what I actually try to show y'all in my last two videos. But whenever you understand that it's not about perverting thoughts, it's about understanding a thought get produced. So you breaking in things to different spaces. Then it's about just cleaning up yourself, cleaning up your heart. And you gotta claim that you do it. Hey, all glory to you, bud. But I don't see it. Not from my eyes. Not y'all don't act like it. Y'all don't sound like it to me. So with that being said, we got to understand that psychological death and psychological warfare comes from us just basically not understanding when it is time to let go, meaning trusting ourselves, trusting our spirit that what we have already introspected and understood, and we know the opposite attribute. Now, whenever the stimulus comes up based on a perceived object that reminds us of that characteristic that we always been experiencing and dabbling in and fighting with, whenever we understand that virtue and that principle and the opposite attribute that corresponds to our dreams, that's how we step into the seat of peace and witnessing the death. What is the death? What your mind is reflecting on, because you got to understand, dude, your mind reflects on its own too. It's You got to understand you are a part of nature, and nature is very, look at it like this. There's a part in you, okay, whether you like it or not, whether you try to manipulate it or not, you have your vulnerabilities. Everybody has a vulnerability, okay? It don't matter how much you try to pervert it or whatever. This is about understanding that vulnerability and creating a space around it that will protect it. It's not about because you got to understand whenever you experience the things attacking your vulnerability, you're going to want to protect that, and from you protecting that, it's going to come out of hurt, it's going to come out of fear, it's going to come out of shame, because you don't know what it is that is actually attacking you, and the principle to keep the virtue of your vulnerability at an equilibrium. Meaning, you got to understand, dude, your vulnerability is like a child. So it's not, because the child is going to see and be attracted to things that it has been taught. Okay. No matter the mood, feeling, or mental framework that you put to yourself. Okay. So this is why you receive those thoughts and those feelings that may be immature. That's the shadow of your invulnerabilities. But when we understand this, we all have our vulnerabilities. You got to understand it's about knowing where it comes from, what it is, and the environment that sets it off. So you can understand the things that it is actually connecting to and why it is perceiving reality in that certain way. So whenever you step into that arena, because it's about transmuting, it's not about being hard, it's not about looking at it in a different way. It's literally about understanding and seeing, oh, that's what that is. That's it. That's it. And then whenever you see it again, you just know it. And then eventually over time, it just turns into wisdom. So, and wisdom is always greater fertility. So you can do what the fuck you want with it. But it's just about getting about the hellish part of it. So when we're talking about warfare, we got to hunt down the thing that is attacking it. And the thing that is always attacking it is just the opposite attribute that we actually long for. Because you already know what you want. You already know what makes you mad, sad, happy, depressed, angry, okay? And things that actually will hurt your feelings, right? So it's about understanding that. And whenever you understand that, you know the opposite behavior that you need to uphold. Because within that vulnerability, in the shadow of your vulnerability, the only reason why it's like that is because you didn't know that. That's it. So whenever it gets played out, it get played out through the bodies of your child self, through the bodies of your teenage self, through the bodies of your if you grown, your grown self. But you got to understand, the bodies just resemble time. All right, and within the increments, that just reflects the progression the progression of your intellect. So whenever we understand warfare, it's just about that. Then we can just hunt down the thing that's attacking us, the thing that is actually just annoying us. So it's about that. And we do that with virtue to actually sit still wherever the event happens. Now, with virtue, because you got to understand, this is just your power. This is just the things that your mind is being attracted to. So that, and I'm gonna give you some free game. The highest expression of getting your energy back, getting your focus back, getting your attention, your attraction back, is by understanding that it's just your power. So just take it. Just give me my shit back. Now you can make a perspective. Well, I'm sorry. You can have some type of philosophy about like love. Like, I don't know, bro. But me, I don't play games. Like, that's my shit. So give me my shit back. That's my energy. So whenever events happen and I witnessed it, okay, my mind remembered my virtue about that aspect of this aspect that we're speaking about now. It's just getting back our power, our energy, our attraction. Because you gotta understand, the only reason why your focus is going and swaying and everywhere is because you don't know the things to uphold the principles of your soul, so that your mind can be attracted to the things that resemble the things that's within you. Whenever we're talking about external, whenever we operate in the external realm. So whenever you understand that in itself, and you can create some type of whatever mental framework that you want, dude, whatever that you want. And what I mean by mental framework is going into it. So you got the knowledge now, right? So what are you going to do now? That's a mental framework. What are you going to do? How are you going to get it back? That's a mental framework. Whether it's a philosophy about things hurting you, about love, about the opposite attribute, because you gotta understand all we're doing is going for the opposite attribute. So you can just dream about the opposite attribute and how that makes you feel. If that's how you want to use your mind. Like I said, with me personally, I don't care. I just want my shit back, dude. I just want my shit back. And whenever we talking about that, I'm gonna let you, like I said, that's the highest expression. Cause we're not playing no games. We know what we're coming in and doing and getting. Now, if that's not your character, then hey, create a poem about it then, dude. So with that being said, whenever we're understanding warfare, that's what warfare is. Okay. After we actually set into it, we got our mental framework and we experiencing it. Okay. And we actually put in time because it's gonna keep coming over. Well, depending on where you are. If you're actually in the environment that triggers your vulnerabilities, then shit, you could sit there and your mind can just keep on remembering and remembering and remembering the virtue, the framework that you are upholding. And this right here is where we get into death, because whenever you get tired of experiencing that collision as being, see, it's going to come off as 3 points within your mind, meaning, well, not 3, 4, because the object and the characteristic, so that's the attraction, that's 2, and then from that 2 you're going to analyze the 2, and that will be the 3, and that 3 will project your mentality on that. And from that 3, as you keep doing it and you keep remembering that's what you're doing, you're growing that. So after the 3, you detach from that and you become the 4, which is the whole square. So now you put that aspect, that trait within a box, so it cannot move nowhere. It only knows the virtue that you set, or that you set, that's in correspondence to it. So now it's about getting that realization, that internal event about it. So now, shit, however long it takes, dude, I don't know. So whenever it comes around and it's in that box, boom, realization, a perfect form, the ideal within you, that attribute, and it's better than you imagine, because now you playing with God now. But with that being said, that's psychological death and psychological warfare.